Hi, my name is Diane Covanda, and this is Yoga Talk. Today we have as guests Linda Dias and Michele Sheridan, and thank you for coming. Both Linda and Michele work with people with special populations and teach yoga. Would you tell us a little bit about how you came about this and maybe even some of your background?
Sure. I came to it because I've worked with individuals with a variety of disabilities for 35 years, and yoga has been such a big part of my life. I wanted to see how they would react to it and wanted to give it to them. They're pretty much an underserved population, so we wanted to just see how our individuals would react to yoga, and we found that they love it as much as anyone else does. They like to be part of the world. They like to do what their families are doing. They like to do what their friends are doing. And they like the sense of peace and calm and joy that it brings to them in much the same way that it does to us.
Same benefits.
Same benefits, just a different way of teaching. So it's worked out really nicely. The populations that I've been with are influenced by yoga in a good way. It helps them help themselves.
That's great.
That's me. That's my story.
Yeah, Linda?
So I think Michele and I have a similar path that led us to yoga. I work in a day program, and I teach yoga classes at the day program for individuals there. And I found that they can utilize the skills in the yoga classes at home and in other settings.
I know between the two of you, you have so many years of experience. Can you just tell a little bit about your backgrounds, your education? What you bring to when you teach the yoga, Michele?
My background is special education, but mainly focusing on the area of applied behavior analysis, and the majority of my work experience has been with children and adults with autism. And there is something about people with autism that drew me to them, and what I've found through working with them both professionally and then with yoga is that they have the ability to be really mindful people. So what a parent once described to me was we're trying really hard to bring our children out of what the yoga meditation group out there is trying to get into. So I kind of found that they bring that piece to me, and I bring my piece to them. And they're really amenable to learning yoga. It helps them in all areas of their lives. It helps them communicate. It helps them manage themselves the same way that yoga and meditation helps us to manage ourselves. And that I was able to take the two things in my life that I love the most and put them together.
I love that.
So that's me.
Yeah. Linda, your background, a little bit about what brought you here?
My background is in education, so I bring more of the programming aspect of having yoga be implemented in the program and how that can be carried over into the areas of the program, into the speech area and the physical therapy, occupational therapy in the programs.
One class I've been to a class that you taught is yoga that we experimented with just auditory, being able to listen to you, and you're very clear, you're really direct and simple with your directions when you teach yoga. And one of the classes I was in with you, we all just closed our eyes just to see what that would feel like if we were doing yoga and couldn't see the teacher at the front of the room. I thought that was fascinating. Is there any reason that you particularly focus on that?
I think that aspect of the practice was to look at senses and be able to utilize what you have. So some of the people that we teach, they may be able to see very well, but they can't hear. They may be able to hear, but they can't see. So being on the mat and having just the auditory input, you utilize the mat and the space around you as your sacred space for yoga. Maybe having someone closer to a wall where they can feel safe. If your visual input is restricted, sometimes you feel safer having the boundaries of the mat around you.
I loved how you started with, feel the edges of your mat, notice how far your foot can go when it touches the floor.
Right,
instead
orienting.
of the mat.
Orienting is big.
It was great.
Yep. And always being able to go back to that place. So if you're feeling unsettled, finding the edges, finding your space.
Some of us take that for granted. We just see our mat and get to it. What I saw Michele teach was yoga without words, and really clear demonstration that someone could follow you without having to focus on your words.
Yeah, I did that to help people who have either low hearing or no hearing, but also people who have difficulty processing what they hear. So if we remove the one sense, they're able to focus more clearly on the sense that you're spotlighting. One of the benefits of that, I think, is really slowing down movement. So slow down movement and make it very clear what you're doing. Showing people exactly what to do gives them the ability to imitate what you're doing, but also to just concentrate on the movement and what they see, as opposed to trying to process what the words actually are. And it really benefited them, but it also helps me, because that's really my preferred way of teaching yoga, is to use minimal speech. So it was really a benefit all around.
I loved both of your classes when I attended them. They were just a wonderful sample of a different take on how you could teach. Would you give us some examples? We'll move the chairs and just teach maybe a couple of sample postures that you would do as if you were teaching one of your classes.
Sure.
Great. And it certainly doesn't have to be the auditory or visual, just however you usually teach class. Thanks.
Okay. So bring your attention to your feet, wiggle your toes, and then set them back down. Feel your feet like roots in a trees and lift up from the top of your head. Feel yourself breathing. And inhale your arms straight up. Let the air out, bring your arms back. Inhale, reach up. Find your hands over your head. And tip over to one side. And then back up. And the other side. And back up. Release your hands. And shake your shoulders out. And start to let your hands move from side to side. Just swing them from one side to the other. It's okay if one of your feet comes up. And then bring that back, being still.
Now let's start with a baby tree pose. Hands on hips. Place the heel of one foot against your ankle. Crown of the head up to the sky, and take a long, deep breath. Foot back on floor, and switch feet. Heel of your other foot against the ankle, and take a long, slow, deep breath. Feet on floor, rock back and forth so you can feel the roots right down into the ground. Now we'll do the leaves of the tree. Take a long breath, a big breath. Breathe your arms up in the air and spread them out. And it's okay if your leaves blow in the wind a little bit. And then bring them back, taking a breath. Reach the fingertips all the way out. One more breath. Now hands back down at sides. Let's put it together. First, choose a heel and put it against your ankle. And then lift hands up to the sky and take a breath. Feel your fingertips going out all around you. And feel the sun on the top of your head. One more breath. And breathe your hands down. And let's do the other side. Heel against ankle. Arms up straight, fingertips to the sky, and then spread out your branches. Fingertips pointing out all around the world. Take a nice big breath. And let your hands float, let your leaves float in the wind, and then straighten out again. Big breath in and out. Feet together, shoulders down. Wiggle your rock back and forth on your feet and find where you are. Now we're going to do a star pose. It's kind of like a big starfish. Feet out as far as you can get without falling over. Breathe in and out. Breathe in and lift your arms up and out to the side like a big starfish. Fingertips all the way out. Feel the energy in those fingers pointing out to the sides. And take a big breath, 2 breaths. And exhale, breathe out, feet together, hands at sides. Hands together at your heart. And this is a sun breath. Breathe in, fingers up and around like the sun. Again, breathe in, arms out and around. And one more. Breathe in, out and around. And hands together at your heart. Namaste. Thank you.